Good morning, true crime friends. How y'all doing? Listen, I knew this case was going to come back. Look, we have a lot to cover this morning. We're going to talk about Miss Katie Restelli, aka the other Adelsons. But first, you know what you need to do. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also, we are almost at 20,000 subscribers. Go on and share this video so we can get there. Look, Miss Katie Restelli. Okay. Roll your mind back to last summer, like July 2024, right? Katie Restelli and her mama and her trash brother. Look, this whole family is garbage. This is what happened. And I did a video on this. I have a whole playlist about this, so you could go back and look to what was happening back then. Okay, but last summer, Katie Restelli was married to her husband, Matthew, and they was living down in California someplace. And she was like, oh, I don't like being married. I mean, I know we only been married for a couple years. We got a couple kids and stuff, but I don't want to be married no more. I think I would like to go out and date and do all the single people things. And her mama was like, oh, girl, don't you worry about that. You come and stay with me. And then while you're living with me, we'll tell Matthew that you want a divorce. And then that's going to be good. And so she was like, okay, she did part of that. She left her husband in California and she went to live with her mama in American Fork, Utah. And so she was over there living with her mama, but she was calling her husband, hey baby, hey, yeah, listen, I know we needed some space from one another, so I've taken some space. I'm gonna stay here with my mother, but I'm coming back really soon. She kept telling her husband that she was gonna come back to California and live with him. Meanwhile, she was telling everybody else who would listen, oh, I hate him, I want a divorce, I don't want to be in this relationship. And because she was so non-confrontational, she was like, how is it that I could tell him that I really, really don't want to be married anymore? Oh, wait. I have a brilliant idea. The family gather around. Let's just unfortunately unalive him. That way I don't have to tell him that I don't want to be married anymore. This is going to be a really good idea. And her mama, Tracy Grist, garbage mother, was just like, you know what? There was another lady who did this very, very successfully. I am going to use her as my role model. Let me look her up. She let her Google fingers do the walking, honey. And who did she look up? None other than Donna Adelson. Her Google searches showed that she searched over and over and over again for Donna Adelson. When did Donna Adelson get arrested? What lawyer did Donna Adelson use? Ma'am, Donna Adelson should not be your role model for anything. So she was just like, okay, so listen, Katie, I know Matthew wants you to come back home and live with him in California because you keep telling him you want to come back home and live in California. But if we could lure him here to American Fork, Utah, then, you know, your criminal brother, he could just pew him up and we could act like it was self-defense or something. Oh, shades of Lori Vallow Daybell. Okay, I see what you getting at, mama. It's like, we can lure him here. We could, usher him off to the endless heaven buffet, and then you could just have your kids and live happily ever after. And Katie was like, that sounds like a really good idea. And so while she was planning this trip for her husband, her and her mother and her brother plotted a crime over text message. They were texting each other on Facebook Messenger. Why are y'all still using Facebook to commit crimes? Are you crazy? You know Mark Zuckerberg gonna give up all your information as fast as humanly possible. But okay, stay stupid, criminals. Anyway, so she's all on Discord. She's on Facebook. She's planning all the things. And so she's in her Discord true crime group telling people, hey, how do you lure somebody over to where you live? You know, my husband is terrible. Oh, it's too bad I can't unfortunately unalive him. Ma'am. So finally, every time she gets on the phone with her husband, she promises her husband that she's going to come home. Every time she hangs up the phone with her husband, she tells her mother and brother and siblings over text, regular SMS text. Y'all, not even WhatsApp. Ma'am, you are terrible at true crime. And for that, I am very grateful. She tells all her friends, I'm going to need to unfortunately unalive him. This is terrible. So finally, Matthew was like, I've had enough. You and the kids need to come home. We are going to be a big, happy family again. And she was like, okay, I'm going to go rent a car. He's like, great. I'll send you the money to rent a car. And so she's like, oh, he sent me money, but I don't want to rent a car. The mother was like, listen, dum-dum, I keep telling you to lure him here to Utah. If you just lure him here, then we can take care of the situation. You know your brother is a criminal. He can get this done for you. And she was like, okay. Oh, I have to get my nerve nerve up. Okay, Matthew, if you would just go ahead and come and pick me up. I'm so excited to see you. Just get in your truck. No, not that truck. The one that I put the air tag in. I mean, the truck with the leaky oil. I know that truck is really not roadworthy, but that's where I hid the air tag. And so if you could just drive that one here to Utah, then that will work out real good for me. And he was like, okay, baby, I love you so much. She's like, I know, I love you too. So for his whole trip, driving from California to Utah to pick up his wife, she promised she was going to go home. She promised she was going to, I'm going to pack up the kids. I'm putting everything in boxes. Why don't you come on over here? Tracy Grist, the mama, Katie Restelli, the daughter, and her terrible, terrible brother, Kevin, were tracking on, they had the Find My app. You know Find My. Child, I'll be finding everything with the Find My app. She had put an air tag in one of his trucks. And so they're tracking the air tag as it goes across the country. Now, okay, that's shady enough, but because they wanted to leave a whole lot of evidence for the police to track down their crimes. When you have an air tag, you have to register it with the app in your iPhone, right? And you could choose an emoji and you could choose a name for it and all this stuff. So you can keep all your different air tags straight. Tracy named the air tag Kevin's truck and then put Matthew's truck. And then for the little emoji, she put the poop emoji. Okay. Because that's going to look real good for you in a court of law. So the whole family tracks Matthew as he makes his way across the country. And Katie is talking to him on the phone, real sweet and nice, recording her phone calls with him. She's horrible at crime. Thank goodness. So she tracks him across the country and then she on the phone with her brother. He's on his way. Do you have the gun ready? Did you polish up the gun? Did you get more bullets? Make sure you have the gun ready. One of the sisters is tracking it and they all just texting each other. He's 100 miles away. He's 50 miles away. Meanwhile, she's still recording him on the phone. Baby, I love you. I can hardly wait to see you. No. When you pull up, make sure you pull up in front of the house and just come in. You don't have to knock or anything. Just make sure you come in. The only way we know this is because these dum-dums had this all on text message. So he's like, look, the truck is leaking oil. I don't even want to stop and turn the truck off because it might not turn back on. Can you put a piece of cardboard down so that I don't drip oil all over your mother's driveway? And she's like, okay, no problem. So she puts down a piece of cardboard. When her husband Matthew finally gets there, he pulls on top of the cardboard. Evidence she knew this man was coming. And he was like, well, you going to come out and greet me? She's like, no, when you come in the house, could you come upstairs? And he's like, I'm just going to pick up you and the kids. I can hardly wait to hug and kiss you. And she's like, I can hardly wait to hug and kiss you too. But listen, I'm going to need you to come in the house. Please make sure you don't knock. Just come on in. Everything is going to be great. Now, listen, I know you and my mom are not getting along that good, but my mother is also excited to see you. And this is going to be really, really good. So he's like, okay. So he pulls up on top of the piece of cardboard, because he has manners. He's not trying to leak oil or whatever all over the street. And he comes in the house the same way he was directed to. And immediately, Kevin, Tracy's brother, pops up with a pew-pew and fills the boy full of lead. And then he dead like a carp on the floor. Child, he's laid out, barely set foot in the house. And they just applied lead to the man. And then they were like, oh, now listen. When he got pew-pewed, the neighbors was like, this is a nice, quiet neighborhood, honey. This is a gated community. I don't know what that was. It's July. Maybe people have firecrackers, but maybe not. Hello, 911. Sound like somebody next door done pew-pewed up their husband. Could you get over here? And so the police were like, oh, hang on. Let's get a dispatcher. Let's get somebody going. And then a few minutes after the shots, after the neighbor has called, Tracy and her family call. Tracy, the mama, Katie Restelli, the daughter, is like, hello, 911. Oh, my ex-husband broke into the house and my brother unfortunately unalived him in self-defense. Please come right away. So the police get there and they're like, oh, we see a man who is clearly deceased here on the floor with a knife in his hand. Wow. Okay. Y'all all seem real calm. Something about this seems suspicious. So the police take everybody down to the station. Immediately, while the man is still dead on the floor, the terrible mama, Tracy Grist, is like, don't say anything to the police. Don't say anything to the police. Shouldn't you be saying, where's the ambulance so I can help my beloved son-in-law who's all laid out here on the floor? No, she immediately started acting suspicious. Stay stupid criminals. Anyway, and so Katie was like, I was upstairs. I didn't see what happened. Oh my goodness, this is terrible. Oh, I believe he might have attacked my brother and my brother had to pew him up. It's so unfortunate. I don't even know how this happened. So the police are like, okay. Everything about this looks sus, but that's okay. We're going to bundle up poor Matthew and take him on down to the coroner's office. But first, we're going to take a picture, click, of this knife that's in his hand. And so she was just like, he came in trying to attack me with a knife. Oh my goodness. Could somebody turn off that truck? Because his truck was still running, sitting out front. What kind of burglar breaks in and leaves the truck running out front? Okay, whatever. So the police take everybody down to the police station and question them. They take poor Matthew off to the coroner. Now, at the police station, the brother, Kevin, was like, yeah, I mean, he broke in the house. We had no idea that he was coming, and he attacked me viciously. You saw the knife he had in his hand. And I was like, oh. The police were like, oh, okay, wow, that's really interesting. Meanwhile, over at the coroner's place, the coroner is like, according to all these medical records and interviews with the family, Matthew Restelli was left-handed, but the knife was in his right hand. Also, the knife was turned backwards in a way that he could not have stabbed anybody. Oh, and while we were doing the investigation of his body, we took all the clothes off. Turns out one of the first times he was pewed up, a bullet went through his wrist of his right hand, which would have rendered his stabbing hand unusable. Restellis, y'all are so bad at crime. And so the brother, Kevin, was arrested immediately. Girl, Donna Adelson, she didn't get arrested immediately. Y'all are bad at crime. Anyway, and so the Restelli family was like, yeah, this is clearly a mistake. I don't know what happened. And so everybody in the community heard about what happened. They was calling up like, Katie girl, oh my goodness, I heard that your husband, oh my God, you're a widow now. This is terrible. I know you wanted a divorce. Oh, you should maybe clear your cache. Child, she had good friends. They would have been like, girl, clear out that Google search history. But they didn't tell her that. So she was just like, don't worry about me. I'm doing just fine, ma'am. Things you should not say on the heels of your husband's unfortunate unaliving. He was dead for 1 day. Her friend called and was like, girl, I heard, are you okay? She said, and I quote, I'm actually happy now. The friend was like, oh, really? She's just like, listen, this solves a lot of problems for me. The friend was like, oh, wow. Can you tell me what happened? Because listen, let me tell you something. That friend was nosy. I am here for the little friend. And the friend was like, girl, tell me every single thing. And Katie was like, so he came in the house and my brother unfortunately unalived him right there. Meanwhile, the mama was in the background like, oh, if I would have known you like true crime, we would have taken a picture of his body on the floor. And the friend was like, oh my God, y'all are hilarious. Listen, let me let you go. Hello, police. Listen. I was just talking to this heifer. She said she's real happy that her husband is dead, and they was making jokes about it. You should go arrest them. And so the police were like, okay, thank you for calling. We're going to take this down in our notes for when this whole thing comes to trial. Meanwhile, Katie was so upset. Her children's father is deceased. How do you think she grieved? Do you think she went out and shopped for black dresses? No. Do you think she was like, should we cremate him? Should we call his family? Should we do something? No. She went on a date. The very next day, after her husband was no longer on this mortal coil, Heifer was on a date. And then she went back to Googling because she's real stupid. How long until you could tell somebody you love them? Ma'am, your husband died yesterday. Her other Google search, how do you get rid of a hickey? Are you in the 8th grade? What is happening? And so apparently they took their sweet time, and then finally Katie's mama, Tracy, called Matthew's mama and was like, hey girl, hey, Matt is dead. Okay, click, bye. Matthew's mama was like, wait, what? Well, obviously it was a car accident. Whatever else could have happened to him. And so she was hysterical, upset, as you would be if you learned that your son was probably, unfortunately, unalived by his garbage wife and her family. And so she was just like, hello, police, all these people are suspicious. I'm going to need you to question everybody about every single thing. And the police were like, well, what happened, girl? They told you, right? But they told you in a real rude way. Look, Matthew's mama was like, well, I'm actually good at true crime. And so she's like, let me call y'all back. And she recorded the phone call. How is everybody just out here recording each other's phone calls? Okay. And so Matthew's mama recorded the phone call and then gave it to the police. Look, if you listen to this, everything sounds suspicious. So finally the police arrest Katie Restelli, the wife, the widow, and her trash mama, Tracy Grist. And they down there like, I mean, we have the right to remain silent, so we're going to remain silent. The police were like, don't worry about it. Look at all these Google searches you did. When did Donna Adelson get arrested? Is there a movie about Donna Adelson? They were so deep in the Adelson case. They were Googling Tara Kawaz, Katie Magbanawaz, Sigfredo Garcia. They Googled every single bit of the Adelson case and still did it wrong. Is this what happens when you're like trying to murder on a budget? Because I feel like the Adelsons had money. They at least went through third parties and stuff. The Restellis and them, they was clearly trying to unfortunately unalive somebody on a budget. And the brother was already sitting up in jail talking about, well, I don't know. The police were like, Brother Kevin, listen, we know you have a criminal record. And when we searched the house the day of the unfortunate unaliving, we went in the room where you was staying because apparently he lived at home with his mama. Okay. And they were like, so we went in your room, and Kevin was like, how do you know that was my room? And they were like, well, your driver's license was there on the nightstand next to some cocaine. Apparently he was using his driver's license to like chop it up and then enjoy some pre-murder refreshments before he was going to go, unfortunately, unalive his brother. Sir, you don't have the common decency to clean up the cocaine that you left in your mama's house? Well, you're like, if the police come in here and they're not sure whose room this is, let me just leave my narcotics here, and I'm going to leave my ID sitting right here. And so there's no question as to who these belong to. Oh, and I know I'm a felon and I'm not supposed to have any kind of pew-pews, but I have one. So let me make sure all my fingerprints are all over it. So the Restelli family has been arrested. Katie Restelli is arrested. Her mama, Tracy Grist, was arrested, and her brother, Kevin, whatever his last name is arrested. Now, look, the Restelli family also has a sister who was clearly in on it. That's the gospel according to Kathy. I'm not accusing nobody of nothing, but I'm just telling you what I found out on the court TV and other assorted videos. The sister was like, okay, I'm tracking the air tag too. Will she be arrested? Might she be an unindicted co-conspirator? Much like Wendy Adelson? Listen. They've started to have preliminary hearings. There's been a preliminary hearing for Tracy Grist, the mama, and a preliminary hearing for Kevin, whatever his last name is, the brother. Matthew, may he rest. Matthew's mama, who's half a detective, but if you won't know the truth, it's not a woman alive who's not half an FBI agent. Matthew's mama, who was a detective, her recordings were played in court the other day. The recordings where she called the other mother-in-law and was like, Heifer, what happened to my child? And the other mother was like, oh, I didn't know how to tell you. I don't know. It was just an uncomfortable situation. Girl. So I will be keeping a very, very close eye on this case. I started following this case 6 months ago. So there's a couple of old videos with like little bits and pieces of information. I will link them on the Katie Restelli playlist. But this is a crime we're going to keep an eye on. The other Adelsons. Listen, like this video, subscribe to this channel, share these videos. We're so close to 20,000 subscribers. Oh my God, I'm so excited. In the meantime, I'll see you next crime. Bye.